We are talking about space races nowadays. Eh?
Yes.
Who is going to be the new internet king?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that Amazon announced this week that they have a massive investment in their satellite internet.
So we're
service.
talking about Amazon today.
Amazon, yes.
Correct.
And
So just first a little quick look at the market. Just a little.
Yes,
What it was this week again? I think not really exciting. I think the same thing as the Casper and myself spoke about last week.
Yeah.
Of course, we did have on, was it Wednesday? Yeah, very negative day. Yesterday slightly positive.
Yeah.
We see that the market is taking in consideration the interest rate hikes now more seriously.
Yeah.
Anything else that you saw from a company or this or that?
Well, I noticed Shell yesterday. They announced that they have a $5 billion write-off in their assets.
Wow.
Because of the pulling out of the Russia. So that's something they had an amount to it, but the share price actually did not move 1% lower, and today up again. So that was something. Yeah, the VIX, I think you both spoke about it last week, that it was under 20. It's a little bit higher again. Of course, markets were a little bit down, but still not too high. And I noticed, I actually did not focus it. I think you both also not last week, the oil price, but it's now under 100
just said
again.
it.
Yeah, I checked it because normally you see, but I didn't look at a while, and I see, it's 97 or something. So
that's interesting. Yeah.
Still not low, of course, compared with the history, but a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But not a very spectacular week. But the
spectacular news from Amazon.
Well, yes, I think so.
Tell us all about
it. They
it.
didn't quantify exactly the amount, but it's like a multi-billion US dollar investment they're going to make in the next years. They're going to launch like 83 times the next 5 years to put their satellites in space.
So it's about launching new satellites.
Yeah. So it's I think a very big business. I'm not really before this item. I was not so aware of it, but it is a very big business. They have actually a special department within Amazon, a company called Project Kuiper. I don't know if I pronounce it well, but
it's a Dutch guy.
Actually, I pronounce it well because it's a Dutch guy. It's actually named after a Dutch guy, so they took over that name. And it's the company started already in 2019, and they are launching this kind of projects. Amazon is using a few companies, and one of them is Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, of course. Of course. I mean,
is that the same as that, like the tourism company?
Yeah. So that's his thing, and but they are not about to use Elon Musk's company, SpaceX. It's not like they could also use them and still be a competitor in that business. It's normal to use also other companies, but they did not use him, and that could actually mean or actually confirm that there's really a competition.
A rivalry, that they're competing with each other.
I think Elon Musk was also in the news this week for his position.
I find it quite surprising. He took a 9% or 8-point-something% stake in Twitter, and within 24 hours he was also part of the board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those sorts of applications need to take quite long, right? I think they've probably already prepared it, but it's funny to see that you take a partnership, or take stake, and then within 24 hours they also announce then again that you become one of the CEOs.
The combination. I think he's the biggest shareholder with this stake now, so it is maybe logical, but it's a big and quick decision. So a lot happening there. Well, back to Amazon, because I had a little further look, of course, so what are they doing there in the outer space, because of course I understand that your mobile phone, there's an iPhone 10, 11, etc., so it has to improve. I also understand that the internet can always be better, but actually I saw that in the United States, for example, there are a lot of areas also not so far from the big cities that there is almost no internet.
No, I actually saw that last night on TV. For instance, the state of Iowa, which is one in the middle, which is full with corn. And then it was like, I always watch cycling, and there was a cycling race or something, and they came through areas. There was absolutely no internet.
Yeah, and that's what they also use. And like I said, I thought it's like to improve, and you always need to improve, but it's really the goal, and maybe they also present it very nice that we are helping people, but there were really American people who are in an internet cafe doing their things because they don't have internet or at home, they pay like $70 for a very weak signal.
Yeah.
So it's something that even in the United States is not
Yeah,
that
we should
normal
be
as
one of
we
the most
are,
developed-
in Holland or in Spain
yeah.
or in a city. I think in the past we had the moments that we go to a place,
Area, you were-
I don't, but it's
Sure,
still
yeah.
there. So if that's the market, to have internet to those people, and that's the US. Of course, there are other regions in the world where you always hear, there's also internet there, but of course a lot of places don't have internet. So I think it's a very big business, of course, to become the king of internet, and it's done. The battle is done in space, and still. Musk is still, I think, leading because he already had like 1,900 satellites out of there. So I mean, the step of Amazon to have this project with their multi-billion dollars investment, that's something, of course, they are going to do. But they still have
a long road to go.
So interesting news about Amazon. I think a few weeks ago we also spoke about Amazon. I mean, if you are interested to buy it, about the stock split that is coming up. 24/1. So that's also interesting. I did not hear anything back actually because I think that they still needed the approval of the company to do so. So I did not hear if that's already there. But if it's done, it will be in June.
Okay.
And it makes, of course,
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes also the share more accessible. I think of course, you can also trade in fractions already, but I mean now $3,000.
I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean to go to a shareholder meeting. I think if you are in a serious bank, you want to have the share. Yeah, and now with $3,000 a share, not speaking about options, for example, if you want to sell an option with
and there's also no mini options available. So
No.
for retail investors, it is a quite big chunk of money.
So it's interesting if the share becomes more accessible, but also interesting to know that this is multi-billion. I think the project itself, the Kuiper project, is like $10 billion. I mean, it's an enormous amount
of money. You don't know, I mean, that isn't like the whole of the AMX. Those companies on the Dutch average, the mid-cap market, they don't even have that size. And this company is just putting that money down to launch some satellites.
And then you have like the competition between another guy, and maybe they say, I want to be the biggest.
It's an important element, I think, if you look at from an investment perspective, that they are capable of doing these sort of things. We all know, of course, the amount of cash that they actually have, but that they are actually doing also these things now that we will be needing for towards the future. Because what you say, rural areas. They also said in Africa they probably have quicker internet sooner than us because there is nothing there, so they have to start. But they're not going to start putting cables down.
No,
they're going to put it with satellites. So for development and making the world more different, it's.
They say like it's also their mission, and also that it's not like profitable actually if you really calculate so I can imagine that for the governments, this kind of amounts to do so. But for a company or a person behind a company who is very wealthy and has a vision, or two persons in this case, it can be a very interesting battle.
Totally agree. Well, for next week, I think our quarterly season is starting again.
It will start. I also note we are, of course, in April. April is a very good, historically speaking, historical month for.
Interesting.
I saw on average 1.7% increase in the April months since a long time ago in the S&P 500, and the average is 0.7. So a very outperformance of April.
Always, in general, a good month, we could say.
And especially, of course, we had not that good quarter. The first
No.
A bad
of course,
quarter.
but there was a reason for that. We're still subject to a lot of things that can affect the market.
Of course, so it's not that it's now must go, but I mean after a bad quarter, some recovery might be possible, and the historical data are at least good for the April month. So let's see.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Give us a thumb, and then we'll see you next week. But next Friday not, because then it's Good Friday. So the European markets are closed. So we possibly come out with a market report on Thursday.
Good that you mentioned it. Markets are closed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.